Yo, alright. What's up? This is Matt Cheese, and you're watching a showcase, demo, explanation, tutorial, whatever you want to call it, for C2 Command and Control that was just updated to version 1.2 a few days ago. And before we get started, I just want to really thank you guys for all that feedback. I'm really happy about that. The mod has been out for a while now, never received that much of attention, and I always thought that's because it's a niche product. But I really have to give a big thanks to Jester184, also known as Major Drumheller from the 506, for breaking this add-on to a much larger audience. Really happy about that. Thanks so much. Alright, having said that, let's jump right into the new features of the 1.2 update. And you can see I'm on a soccer field here, and for whatever reason, there's a control tower in the middle. Like, you see that a lot recently. And the reason this is here is because I want to show you, the smart building positioner that we have now, because you already know we have these indicators. We can drop them on a building. It's going to snap to the positions. Excuse me, that's fine. But now the difference is if I point my rifle higher or lower at the actual building, it's going to change the altitude of these of the selected positions. So this way you can send units up to the top floor of a control tower or any building that has multiple floors, and it doesn't matter how many floors it has. You can send people to the top floor, and you can send people to the roof if you get the chance. Cool, so let's do this. And this is a tricky example, which is why this particular building is what I'm using right now. Because first of all, you can see all the units inside of a building are going to take a specific path, so there is no variety there. The second issue, I'm just being brutally honest here, this works 99% of the time. This particular building is a bit of a dick, because it comes with a few problems. You can see that there is this ladder there, and there's going to be a guy attempting to climb up there to actually, pretty sure one is not going to make it. Boom, there he goes. And he's going to try again, and you see this guy stuck in a swimming animation. This is all engine crap, just to make that very clear. I think this game is amazing. I'm not one of these people who bash the game, but let's face it, it has its little issues, and these can be a bit of a problem here. Once again, you just select your units, you drag the indicators on the building and move your rifle up and down. It's much better to have your rifle out for this. That's a technical issue, but just remember, if you do it like this, it does not work so well because you can't fetch the height that you're looking at this way. I forgot to mention that the great ZAPAT, the creator of Git Tactical Interface, which is another phenomenal add-on for Arma 3 that you need to check out if you haven't done so already, he has given me some great input on the smart building positioner that I just demonstrated to you guys. Just want to put that out there, and he didn't stop at that point because he did something even more phenomenal. If you have used Git Tactical Interface before, you know that it comes with a crazy grenade throwing system. It's hands down the best thing that I've ever seen done for Arma 3. And he authorized the usage of that system for C2, which should give him some good karma. I'm really thankful for this, because it just makes the world of a difference. And you can use it on your player's character and also your AI. I'm going to demonstrate it on your player first, and let me tell you right off the bat, this works better if you are in third person on your own guy. So, for my own guy, I'll hold down H by default. You can change that in the configuration. And sorry if I sound like a douchebag, but if I say hold down, that means you keep your finger pressing down the button until further notice. Sorry that I say this, but I had some issues explaining this to people before. So, you now see these indicators, and they decrease in size the further you point them away, and they always go to the position that you're looking at the given time. and you can see how the velocity vector, or however you call these fancy little things, they will change position and angle and all that jazz, and they're going to tell you how you're going to throw the grenade. So right now you can see no interference here, so we only have white little dots and a green one, and then if I drag it over this little railing here, you can see this tells me about some kind of collision that will go on. So right now I'm probably not going to toss the stuff behind this rail, but now in this way I should be able to throw it right over there. And it's going to select the orange smoke correctly. I can totally throw stuff over this little fence on roofs and all that jazz. This is the grenade throwing system that we know from other games, and I think it should be in Arma 3 by default, but who am I to make judgment calls? So ZAPAT, give it up to this guy. Anyways, how to use it on your group AI. And this is going to be good for two things to cover this. First, and this is important, I select him in the default Arma 3 world. And then I press U, which takes me to a new menu. It comes with many functions, and I'm going to explain all this stuff later. Right now, what matters to us is this little section here, which is the grenades. And you can select frag grenades, smoke grenades, and should you have a supported add-on enabled, also flashbangs. Right now, this is not going to work because there's no flashbangs in the game, so he's going to tell you I don't have this type of grenade. But he does have smokes and frags. Let's use a smoke grenade for obvious safety reasons. So I click and hold down my left mouse button, and I'm keeping it pressed down. As long as I keep it pressed down, same deal as with the key before, these indicators are going to show up. If I let go of the left mouse button, he's going to throw it like this. And boom, there we go. We got the same thing happening for your AI, excuse me, with the correct grenade type. I need to say one more thing that I forgot, which is, let's say I got a frag selected and all of a sudden the situation changes. I don't want to toss that frag no more. Click right mouse button to cancel. This is the same in your own player's GTI grenades or your AI's GTI grenades. So right mouse button to cancel. Just remember that, guys. Once again, spawn a can of beer for ZAPAT. Thanks so much, man. This is amazing that I can use this. This is like the best shit ever. Alright, moving on to the next feature, which would be suppression. And many people are very enthusiastic about this feature, which I love, but I just have to give you the disclaimer that even though I thought something like suppression would be a very, very straightforward thing to implement into an add-on, it proves to be very, very tricky. And just to keep it brief, I really feel like I want to explain this to you, but the short explanation is just the engine doesn't let me do it the perfect way, so I'm working on a workaround, and it's not perfect. It still has some pet peeves. So if you end up suppressing, if you're not doing it wrong, which a lot of people unfortunately are because my documentation was not so good, if you're doing it right and your units point at the position you were trying to target, then the problem is with the mod. Just do it again so they cancel it, move on and do it in another position. Maybe you have better luck. That's up to me. If they don't even point up their rifle, there's something, or like you have an indicator that doesn't move anymore. The problem is, I hate to say it, not on my end. So let's just get on with it, and I will show you how to do this. I will select the units that I want to have suppressing. Who's this guy in front of me? That's unit number 6. I will select him in the default Arma 3. That's very important. I can see how people are confused with this. I'm not talking about the 3D selection. I am talking about the Arma selection. So I select this guy, and then I press and hold down by default the Y key. That brings up the indicator. Now if I look around, this indicator is going to move. This is also not perfect yet. I'm not happy with this at all. If you use your mouse wheel, you can change the altitude. And just so you guys know, if you hold down Control, the action menu is bypassed. Just so you guys know that. So I'm going to have him suppress a very stupid position here.
Fire at the static weapon.
And he fires. I'm actually a little bit surprised because in the beginning it looked like he wasn't going to do it. So he's suppressing now. If I want him to stop, because he's wasting a lot of ammo, I select him again and I press Y again. For a little more guns blazing version of this, select all units.
Fire at the static weapon.
And let's see if we have someone with a problem. Who's this? You son of a bitch. Unit number 3 Colburn is having a bad day. You know, that's exactly what I was talking about. He was pointing his rifle at that little, like, a burger shop there, but he didn't fire. That means he's a douchebag. It's my fault. Sorry for this. If this happens, just move on. But just to wrap it up again, select the unit, hold down Y until you reach the position of your choice. Note that the indicator can actually disappear because at the moment it's an object, which is not perfect. I'm still holding down Y. If I let it go, all the units that I had selected are going to start suppressing, unless they're assholes like Colburn over here, and now apparently also Martin is joining the gang. Colburn, you're a bad influence on your fellow soldiers. That's going to have some consequences. Anyways, suppression. Ta-da, that sort of works. If it doesn't, bear with me, we're going to fix it. I'm getting some reports of people being stuck with this marker, not really moving anywhere and stuff, and people not suppressing it. I'm not able to recreate it right now, but it happened to me before, and what I did to fix it, I guess it happens because you press the button weird or like too fast or something, and that's why they don't start suppressing and it never gets removed because the up key event handler doesn't grab. So if that happens, just select the units again and then press Y, or just press Y, whatever, just mess around a little bit, it will go away. Okay, so far so good. We spoke about grenade throwing, we spoke about suppression, but I didn't tell you yet that these two things are also available to a degree in planning mode. If you have seen the initial 1.0 release tutorial, the smoke was already in there, but it was, quite frankly, not developed at all. It was a very terrible implementation of the whole idea. I just messed around with it at that point, but now it's actually working. So Mr. Martin has a chance to recover from his terrible performance earlier, and we're going to give him a waypoint to move to. And then, not that this environment makes any sense, but just to get the point across. We have Mr. Martin selected. Red smoke means that he has smoke in his inventory, but it's not selected yet. Green smoke means that he has smoke in his inventory and it's selected. Don't confuse this icon with actual green or red smoke. That's what I'm trying to say here. It just means yes or no, green and red. So we have the timer over here. Smoke needs a little while to unfold, so we're going to give him, let's say, 10 seconds. We have the smoke selected, so he's going to toss it over here, and then he's going to wait here for 10 seconds. After that, the smoke has unfolded. Let's say there's enemy here, and then Mr. Martin is going to make a tactical approach towards the middle of the soccer field. And we'll see how that goes. Make me proud, dude. Alright, toss a nade. Thank you very much. This is spot on thanks to the Get Tactical grenade system. Now, we can see the countdown actually counting down from the 10 seconds, and then now that we reached 0, our dude is going to run into the middle of the soccer field and wait there. One thing that's not in the manual, but I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm also going to tell you that there is a very low chance of this working at this point. Suppression is also implemented into planning mode. Let's say we want to have unit number 2 walk over here and then suppress the goalkeeper for 10 seconds and then moving back to his position. But I swear to God, chances are very high he's not going to do it. Move over there.
Ready.
And he's got his rifle up. He's not firing. Totally my fault, but this is not a feature yet. This is kind of the secret look that you get on the next update. Okay, we had a little sneak peek, but it's time to get back to the things that actually matter at this point in time. Namely, this menu, for example, the radial menu. We've already talked about the grenades, but there's a bunch of other functions that come in very, very handy, and I'm just going to briefly talk about those. I'm going to start with the refresh function over here. Which is very important, even though it doesn't look as impressive as its bigger siblings on the other side, because they're, first of all, in terms of compatibility, a lot of people ask the very logical question if C2 conflicts with any other add-ons and stuff. But the reality is, other mods don't really interfere with C2 as far as I know of at this point. Of course, I haven't tested them all. But what is a big problem, however, is just very questionable mission design choices that people take. But then there's other things that can happen. For example, you get joined to another group and all that sort of stuff, which screw with your group settings. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. They screw with your group, and if someone screws with your group too hard, it screws with C2, because C2 is depending on some information that gets screwed up this way. Blah, blah, blah. The refresh button is the remedy for a lot of these stupid little issues. So I'm going to kill off some random units inside of my team, hoping that they're going to be in between. Well, fair enough. Unit number 4 has died, right? So if I click the refresh thing,
9. Report in.
now we have a chronological setting again, because that guy just got kicked out of her. He got kicked out of her array, and also unit number 9, who also died, he's also gone. So that's good for functionality first off, and also just accessibility. I had to make it this way though because it is your choice. Like, you will click this button by choice, and then you, by clicking this button, you agree to the terms of service. Your group is going to be restructured, but I fail to see why that would be a bad thing, because a lot of good things will happen in that way, and mainly it's a bug fix. It's not real. It's an internal shitstorm countermeasure for all the stuff that can be thrown at you by irresponsible mission designers. So yeah, there we go. That's the refresh function, and it also is available in the dialogue mode, but you need to keep in mind that it does have an extra function in the radial menu, because only here you can also use it with shift. I'm going to change that for the tablet in the future. And if you hold down shift and click it, you're going to see in the chat that it says on me. And I don't know why this guy is trying to moonwalk towards my position right now, but what it does is it's a bug fix for a engine bug inside of Arma. Maybe it has happened to you at some point in time that you played a very long, let's say, multiplayer session, and then after 3 hours, all of a sudden, your units don't fall back into formation. If you have irresponsive units, that's what I'm trying to say here, and they're not falling back into position, just select all the units, press U, and then shift and click on refresh to remedy this issue. This has saved my life multiple times already, because nothing is more frustrating than 3 hours of preparation for something crazy, and then you have irresponsive units. Okay, for the next feature, excuse this slightly awkward setting that you're finding yourself in here, but me and my squad, we just ran into a opfer unit that was put into timeout at the worst possible time, and this is a perfect possibility for me to display the ROE function. So basically, I made this because I like to play stealth missions a lot, and the usual problem with those, one of many, is that your own units, once you put them into hold fire and recon and all that stuff, that's fine, but you always have like this one dude who's gonna start engaging a totally non-threatening target out of no apparent reason, and he will just keep open fire and blow your cover, and it's just bad. So the ROE is there to remedy this little problem here. So basically, fire at will up here, that's just default Arma stuff, so it's just could also be called regular. FOT is the actual setting, and that means fire on target, and what it just effectively does is it just strips that AI unit of its ability to pick targets by itself and opening fire on them. So we need to use this in conjunction with the actual like hold fire targeting stuff. But first of all, I'm going to select all units. I'm going to select ROE, and then I'm going to go fire on target. So I get, you see how they put down their rifle, because right now they don't have a target assigned anymore. Before they had, because they automatically had these guys assigned over there. So now I have them set to hold fire. They're not engaging any of that shit. So we're going to use unit number 2 to target this guy, unit number 3 target this guy, 4 target this guy, and then we're going to leave this dude alive to watch. Oh my god, no, I'm not even going to go there. So anyways, now not everybody has a target assigned, right? Only 3 guys. And watch how synchronized. This is basically there for you to like take an outpost with totally synchronized attack waves. And this dude might be a hostage or whatever. But no one, everybody is set to open fire, right? And no one is engaging that guy. Isn't that a miracle? So if we set him back to fire at will, uh-oh, someone's having a bad day. But you see how this works. This is only there to give you more control over the stupidity, for the lack of a better word, of your AI teammates if you are into stealth missions like I am, and you would like to have those actually be somewhat stealthy, then this is going to come handy. Okay, great. So then that means the next feature on the menu would be the brain feature. This is, I didn't have a better idea how to do this. There is some auto functionality inside of Arma in terms of the AI that they can use, which is not very available to the player. One of them, the stance, that's totally my fault. The other one is something that has, I've been startled by this in Arma since forever, excuse me. But let's start with the stuff that I screwed up, because both HUD mode and planning mode, they use stances, and TPW, who also created a amazing mod, he brought to my attention that he likes to use that a lot. I haven't really used that before. I looked into it and I totally see how this makes sense. So right now, C2 is forcing stances on the units by script. That means that if I tell them, to walk over there crouched, they will do this. And then if you remember from the other tutorials, if you have like a default Arma order that you give, that always has a priority. So now if you go auto,
Copy my stance.
or copy my stance, what it's called in the Armaverse, they will not go back to auto, but to the stance they will script it to. So if you want them to be actual auto again, you need to select them again, then click on the brain, and then go auto stance. That is not ideal. Not even going to lie about that. I was not aware about how much sense it makes to have your units in auto mode, so I need to kind of revamp this whole system and figure out a way how these two different modes can work together. Oh my god, I forgot about this guy. Okay, apologies. That guy was getting on my nerves, but as I said, this was my fault. I need to figure out a better way how to process these two different possibilities, and I will do so. Then the second guy here, that is something I'm still not sure at this point, to be honest, if I'm just misunderstanding this, because it would not make sense to me that this is not in the game. But you can, and this is a great function. Who's this, number 2? You can tell the guy to watch in a certain direction. You can tell the guy to scan the horizon, and he's gonna keep scanning around and stuff. In theory. Oh yeah. Okay, there we go. But now, once this is set, it's sort of like a situation where we are being forced to either not do it at all, or do it once and then stick with it, and I hate that. So basically, if I tell unit number 2 to look over there,
observe that position.
He's going to want to look somewhere at all point, either here, or I need to tell him to, I don't know, look at the ground or some stuff, and then he will do that. But I always have to micromanage this from this point, and that sucks. So now we can make him look at nothing. So we do this, and he will just like look whatever direction he wants to be looking at. So that means if he was looking a certain direction and then he's being engaged from the back, he's not going to be an idiot about it anymore. If you choose to tell him not to be an idiot about it. So that's that. I think that's very handy, especially if you have, like, I don't know, imagine like a tank gunner scanning the horizon, and then you don't want him to do that no more. Like, how stupid it is if he just keeps going. Sorry if I use that word. Again, I'm not bashing Bohemia. It's just, it's a problem, and that's also a reality, so I tackled this issue. So that brings us to the new features and additions to planning mode. First of all, you can see that there's also this new little button here, and the reason why that is there is that I had a lot of issues in the current versions where once these plans were in effect and a unit was carrying out like a route or something like that, they could run into problems. For example, sometimes armor, and especially, or like other vehicles and stuff, they will do some crazy stuff. And particularly in certain areas in the map and stuff, it's a witchcraft that I haven't figured out yet. But like, there's a system, and it's not really related to the system of this mod, but it can happen. So we need to tackle this. So let's say your unit is carrying out orders, and you need them to stop. It can be an issue, or it could be an issue before. So first of all, I really improved the exit conditions for these routes. So if you have like a unit carrying out, like going about the route that you planned for it, there's a certain number of things that can happen that will tell the add-on that this is no longer relevant. For example, you order your unit back into formation, or you tell it to go somewhere else, or anything like that, or you order it to stop. The script at that point cannot know what you want to do, so it has to exit all of this madness here. And this, at this point, was a bit of a problem. So now we have some new ways. First of all, if you order them back into formation, if you order them to stop, if you order them to move anywhere else, it's going to work about like 3 times as good as before. But it's still not 100% perfect in some situations that are very hard for me to cater to all of those. So you have this new button, and that works as follows. A unit is carrying out orders, going about his route. First of all, you can still create more waypoints for that unit and extend the session. So if you do that and you don't like what you did, you can just click on the thing, and it's just going to delete the current planned session. It's still carrying out the orders that you issued before this. So now the next thing is control, and the X. That's going to switch. Yeah, it's a little bit buggy right now, apparently. I don't know why, but it's gonna skip the current waypoint, and he's just going to continue to the one after that. So if there is a problem with one specific waypoint, you can get rid of it that way. And then the next one, which is the important one, is shift. All these are written down in the tooltip, as you can see here. If you hold shift and left mouse button, it's just going to annihilate those plans and make the unit stay wherever it is at that certain time. So let's say he was in trouble. Now we would go to take cover, and my madness situation is sorted out, and this is really the best you're going to be able to do. But this is a lot better than it was before, and I hope you're going to be able to use this. Anyways, you can see here, this is the first page. This is the ground troops control page. So you can control foot units and you can control drivers of ground vehicles with this. Right now I don't have a car or anything, but you could still use those. Any other unit, namely like a gunner, passenger, or a pilot, will be grayed out and not be able to select. Because the pilot, you need to go to page number 2. You can either click this button, or you can click 1 for infantry or ground, and 2 for air vehicles. So you don't need to press the button. And that is only there for air vehicles, and to be honest with you guys, it's specifically tailored for choppers. So mainly transport choppers and also attack choppers, but aircraft and drones have not made very reliable results, and if I don't make reliable results, I don't put it into this little thing. Choppers are fairly controllable though, with a madness of like functions and stuff like that, but you don't have to bother with this because I bundled those into a nice little framework that works very well for you. So I'm at page number 2, and now I can only select pilots, and it's going to tell me the type of vehicle that he is in. And then you can see that the settings up here, some of them have changed. Spacing changed to 100 because if you're using a lot of choppers flying information, 100 meters is kind of a safe spacing for them to not like kill each other and stuff. Okay, so the first setting that changed is this, and this represents a flying height. Green will be like 200 meters, yellow will be 75 meters, excuse me. And then orange is kind of the go-to guy, which is what I call flexible 25 meters. It should be only 25 meters, but it's like Arma sort of is kind of cool about changing those values. And then we also have 5 meters, which is red, because I'm not gonna lie, it's cool, but if there is any kind of vehicle or like any kind of obstacle, sorry, your chopper, like he's gonna eat shit basically. So this with a lower speed in very open areas with, let's say, like a little bird or something, oh god, that looks pretty damn gangster. But yeah, gangsters die fast. So anyways, I usually leave it at like a comfortable orange 25 meters. That's kind of my go-to guy for everything. Those numbers might seem weird, but I tested, not every value has a perfect result, so that's why I didn't let you enter your desired flight height, which is probably a reasonable question that you guys have. Anyway, speed is also still relevant, where you have to remember that infantry, ground vehicles, and choppers have different speeds. A chopper would be going, I think, 60 at a diminished pace. I think a car goes like 15, something like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. What's important is that we have 4 different waypoint types for the chopper. The first one would just be a waypoint, so you can use that for your classical route planning stuff. So also the choppers will fly the route that you think is safe, instead of like going straight into that AA unit that we know is there. Yep, okay, so the next waypoint type for choppers is this guy. It's called a pickup LZ. So that means that the chopper is going to land, and I'm going to show you this, how it really works, but this is where you can assign the transport units to the vehicle, and also yourself, and then board these units to the chopper, and when all the assigned units are inside of the chopper, will take off. That's all that this does. So of course you need a waypoint after this, and this is going to be, you guessed it, a drop-off LZ. And first of all, you can right-click. For helicopters, you can right-click and change the waypoint type, but that's only for choppers. And then click right somewhere on the map to make it disappear. Anyways, this is a drop-off LZ, and that means that the chopper will go there, he will land, and he will kick out any crew member that is not like actually piloting the thing, or flying the thing, in other words, or that is not a helicopter pilot or any kind of pilot aircraft crew class. Those will remain inside of the vehicle because I can't know what these guys are supposed to be doing. So those you would have to manually disembark or whatever. Finally, we have this green H. Also, these are custom markers, by the way, but the green H means a full landing with where the pilot's going to turn off the engine to save fuel. So this is like what you use to kind of like have him on standby or whatever. So we have a route planned here. Chopper flying to normal waypoint, then just like from this point going over here, he's going to pick me up, he's going to drop me and my guys off there, and then he's going to go to a full landing at the airfield. So let's see how that goes. Honestly, I don't really have the highest expectations because I'm making them land on a soccer field. But that's an extra challenge. Maybe he can do it. Let's see how that goes. Alright, so we hear the guy approaching us right now. He's ready to pick us up. And for this, I'm going to show you some tricks that I like to do which really help, because there is so much weird stuff happening on in how choppers really work inside of Arma 3. If I were to just select those guys and have him board the chopper, he would just land anywhere and pick him up and then keep going. But this can interfere with the way we have our plans mapped out. So you see, when he gets close, we get this little radio message, and that tells us that he's ready to board, so he doesn't have to land twice, basically. So then I am assigning Team Red to board the chopper now. They're doing like a crazy rain dance. And then you see that if I point at the chopper, it has an option to assign yourself to the vehicle. Because otherwise, if these guys are have boarded the chopper, they're not going to wait for you anymore. They would just keep going. So it's very important that you assign yourself to vehicle, and then he needs to wait for you too. If you did that and you look at the vehicle again, the action changed to unassign yourself from the vehicle. So if I were to do this now, the chopper would just take off. But we don't do this because I want to be on it. Note how nice the doors are opened and stuff, and how they close now. So now that I'm inside of the chopper, everybody is aboard that was assigned, so the pilot knows, okay, cool, I can go. Same goes, by the way, if an assigned unit dies, he's not relevant no more. And we're going to continue to our destination. Now, for the drop-off, I can still change those if I'm not landing already, but for the drop-off, really, I don't need to do anything. We're just going to land, and he's going to kick us out. But one thing that I want to have you know is that, let's say we were under fire now, the pilot will start to chicken out and do some really crazy, insane stuff. Like he will fly towards like an active target, even if he's unarmed, and like he will just try to threaten it, like you've seen in some stupid animal documentaries. But it's good to have him hold fire for whatever reason. That's gonna make his behavior that much more accurate. So I didn't do anything, I got kicked out by myself. The units disembark a little bit too slow for my taste, but once they're all out of the vehicle, he's gonna close his doors and he's gonna get the hell out of Dodge. So there we go. And pretty epic shit. And we're officially inserted and can go about our business in town, while this guy is actually going to fly over to his LZ. So once he's there, in theory, I would have him land and wait for him to like come to a safe destination, and then I would disband him to the reserve and then join him back to my group. So he's not really dead weight in the meantime. I don't know if I did tell you this before, if I deleted the take. Basically, these two things are going to be great at some point. They're going to be very handy, but right now stay the hell away from these guys because they're going to make you very sad. But this is the chopper stuff, and keep in mind that you can also use as many choppers as you want at the same time and have crazy complex pick up and drop off maneuvers, which look very, very, very cinematic. Without that much work. It's just going to take some skill on your side. If you use multiple choppers, you would split your team into, let's say, at least 2 fire teams and stuff, and then have Team Red board one chopper, Team Green board the other chopper, and so on and so on. But this is, I admit, it's more for people who play Warfare and stuff. And I put it in there because my friend was very enthusiastic about this stuff, so it was just like, you know what, whatever, it's cool, I'm going to do it. This is inspired by a chopper add-on. I will figure out who it was. The name escaped me. But this has existed for Arma 2 before. This is just, I wrote the whole thing, but basically there's been people doing this before. It's just, so now if you like this, it's available to you in Arma 3, and you don't have to port another mod and stuff like that. I think this sort of stuff is different to other existing mods for Arma 3 that have functionality, like the suppressing stuff. I had to really debate that with myself. This menu, I've been told to put stuff in there, which I really want to put in there, but really, you guys are going to think I'm lying, but I had a friend of mine make this for me because he knows like vectors and stuff like that, and he works for a big company, so he knew how to do this, and he gave this back to me. Then later, I was watching at the videos for a mod called CSE just to get some inspiration. They have a very similar thing, and it actually does the stuff I've been asked for, so I hesitate to put it in there because I do respect other people's work. Maybe I'll put it in there at some point, but I don't know. Like, if it exists for Arma 3, I'm kind of scared to just like walk over other people's work. If it doesn't exist for Arma 3, but for other Arma series games, I don't give a hoot. I will put it in there. And I think that that wraps it up. That should be it. We have all of these guys. We got all of these guys. If I forget something, I'm going to put it into the upcoming main tutorial, because this is just, I wanted to give you guys something to look at and maybe make sense out of the controls for the new features, but I am going to make a full tutorial of C2 with the updated versions, because it's a bit scattered with the old videos that we do have. But if you should be watching this and you're very new to C2, there's also the 2 older videos with a not up-to-date software, but everything should be explained one way or another. And then if you need to look back at something, there's also the manual. And the manual, if you downloaded this from Steam, there's an issue in how it packed the stuff, so go into your main Arma directory and then go to C2 Command and Control. Inside of that folder, there's going to be another folder called @C2, and the manual is in there. If you download it from like Armaholic, Mediafire, any of that stuff, then you have a @C2 folder in your Arma main directory, and it's going to be in there. Okay, my girl is hollering, so I'm gonna let you guys to it, and